We now move on to the guest speaker introduction. Raghuram is the founding chairman and spiritual guide of Yoga Bharati, which is dedicated for transferring down the traditional wisdom of yoga spirituality to modern minds through its academic programs and other yoga-based initiatives. Presently, Sri Raghuram is appointed as Distinguished Professor in SVYASA University. His interest in spirituality, Indian philosophy, and yoga has been from childhood. He holds MACT National Institute of Technology with a very high regard both for giving him engineering knowledge but also for giving him an opportunity to involve in spiritual activities in his late 60s. Since 1989 till 2005, he was taking care of international activities of Vivekananda Yoga Research Foundation, Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhana Samsthana, VYASA, Bangalore. He is the president of Yoga Bharati, an NGO in Bangalore promoting value initiatives in educational institutions. Professor N.V. Raghuram has been traveling all around the globe, more than 60 countries, and his unique ability to simplify high philosophical concepts into most practical approach makes him a favorite speaker on these forums. His talks are very unique and revolutionary. As a visionary leader and a teacher, he has been guiding many institutions across the globe with his profound wisdom. He is involved with several international yoga research projects and has published research papers in international journals, conferences, and publications. He has published a book of Patanjali Yoga Sutra with translation of each sutra with commentary for sadhakas. Among his many list of achievements, he was awarded Yoga Shri in 2000 and Vivekananda Vibhuti Award in 2015.
Wish all a very happy Vaikuntha Ekadashi and Gita Jayanthi. It's 2024-3, and we are entering into very auspicious 2024. And here with a lot of gratitude, all that is coming. Now, it's nice to be part of this Gita Jayanti Utsava. To chant all these 3 chapters, very nice to see that Karma Yoga chapter, the 3rd one, followed by the Raj Yoga chapter, that's sort of the 6th chapter. And last one is the Bhakti Yoga chapter, the 12th chapter. And in fact, in many circles of yoga, these 3 chapters are held very high in regard. Particularly last 12 shlokas of the 12th chapter are supposed to be Amrutashtakam. That means they are very special place in the minds of the people, in the readers that who read Bhagavad Gita and all that, the sadhakas of Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, so I can keep on talking about Gita. It's an extraordinary, wonderful text. I don't think there is anywhere in the world any text which is equivalent to Bhagavad Gita. And another thing is that Gita is such a subject, such a text. If you really question anything in this particular, there are several spiritual texts that are there. People say that don't question, you just take it as the way it is said. Like the way that whatever that is given in the text, you please accept it like that. It's nothing like that. Even Gita, you can question. A lot of times people try to mystify that, saying that, no, actually, really Gita did not happen. And only that it's a fight that is going on between the good and bad within us. That's why it is given as Bhagavad Gita. There's nothing like that. It really took place. We have all the evidences of what all happened in Mahabharata war. Before that, all the places are also there. Everything is identified. As in the beginning that was said, it is 5160. Definitely. It's very clearly happened like that. Before I go into the detail, let me tell you that in this culture, what happens is that there are certain people who lived in the history. We don't want to let them go in the history books. We want them to implement them. So, how to make it that they are ever living is by making a Itihasa Purana out of it. That means you are given a God kind of a feel. It's not that their gods are not gods, but a feeling like that. So these 2 such Itihasas that are there, one is a story of Rama, that is Krishna. they have given this particular position in such a way that they are ever living. In fact, we have seen that, we have experienced that when Ramayana serial was going on the TV, he was staying in everybody's house. Rama belonged to everybody's house. Similarly, Krishna belongs to every place. If you say Krishna was there somewhere in Dwarka, Gujarat and all that, then no, he belongs to Bangalore. This is the kind of feeling that we have. In fact, a friend of mine in USA, he's a Telugu guy. And he likes my talks, he likes me. And he feels that I know everything about Gita. And so that's how he invites me to his house. And he says, and he has a beautiful auditorium set in his house where studio kind of thing, and where he plays, I don't know whether you have heard, Ghantasala's Bhagavad Gita, Telugu. He plays that every day for about half an hour. He listens to that before he goes to work. That's he says is meditation. And then he invites me when we go to his house. He says, Raghuram, you just tell me only one thing. I'll be satisfied. He said, Krishna in Mahabharata, he sang Bhagavad Gita like the way Ghantasala sang. That we want to feel Krishna at his home, at his heart. See, that is the place these people have occupied, Rama and Krishna. We are very fortunate to have these people. So, this is the kind of thing, and Bhagavad Gita happened. But often these questions, critics put this question saying that how can in the battlefield 700 shlokas Krishna was saying, and then what the other people were doing, are they sleeping there? Because 700 shlokas, even if you read it neat, it takes about 3.5 hours. So 3 chapters they are taken about an hour. So like that, actually, truly speaking, it did not happen that way. You see, war arrangement were there and then army was there. In any place it is like that. It takes at least about 15-20 minutes for half an hour, 1 hour to get an arrangement adjusted. You can see that even the cricket match, it takes about half an hour to see that everything gets adjusted. It was like that. And during that time, Arjuna says to Krishna, take the chariot in between the army, so that let me plan the war strategy. It's a very simple. Chief of the army asked that question, let me plan the war strategy. Fine. Krishna also takes the chariot in between the army for Arjuna to plan the strategy. It really happened. And afterwards, there is, for arrangement, it's about half an hour time. Within that time, Arjuna asks certain questions, doubts, and Krishna clarifies. It's a conversation between them. Usually what happens is that any conversation, any ideas at the psychological level, it takes about half an hour, 20-30 minutes. It's easy. But then by the time it has written, it has come in the form of a book writing, it came to about 700 shlokas. So it's not that 700 shlokas Krishna said and Arjuna heard, but the gist of it, it is like that. In fact, very simple thing that you come across something, you hear something and all that. But I asked you to write down, easily you write about 5 pages of that. That means a written statement is almost 100 times bigger than the actual activity that was there. And whatever that happened, it was Arjuna's experience, not even the others' experience that was there. They were all preparing for the war. And then Arjuna was having that experience. And that is what very beautifully comprehended by even Bhishma. Another person who knew that something is happening in the war field is Bhishma. Not many other people. Other people did not know what's happening. But Bhishma was somebody who was really aware of it. So therefore, on this side, Krishna and Arjuna were discussing. That side, Bhishma and Duryodhana was there. And Duryodhana asked Bhishma, Rama, why don't they start the war? And he said, they're discussing they'll start the war because Arjuna is supposed to blow the conch and they'll start the war. No, but why are they? What is it they're discussing? Why? You started. Then Bhishma says to Duryodhana, see, you brought the war this far. It will happen. Don't be in a hurry to die. I don't die. They are afraid actually. They are afraid. In fact, they're so afraid they want to run away from battlefield. Actually, Arjuna want to run away from the battlefield, but not because of the fear. You see, then he says to Duryodhana, whole life you have been stupid. You don't have to speak the stupidity now itself. It's all right, something will happen. That time, Bhishma says one word, that's why beautiful. He said, in my long life, I never prayed any God for any favor. I never prayed for any favor. I did it my Purusha Prayatna. Anything that has come in my life, I did it. This is the only moment I feel like praying God. It's not that I pray God. I feel like praying to God, not any particular God, a wind God, to blow from that side to this side so that I can hear a few words what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. That means of all the persons, only Bhishma had some inkling what's happened. Not that he has seen anything else. That was an extraordinary moment. Wars have taken place in this country, in this culture for several thousands of years. But no war is like Mahabharata war because no other war, there's a wisdom like Bhagavad Gita has taken. It's only in Mahabharata that Gita has happened. In fact, wars are forgotten. But Mahabharata war, nobody can forget because of the simple reason of Bhagavad Gita. That's the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Wars have happened. What is that importance of it? Particularly Ramayana, Mahabharata. So it's very similar conditions, and then yoga has played a very major role in this particular thing. It's like in the case of Rama was completely depressed. I mean, he didn't know what to do. See, what happens is, whatever you want, you have it. And, we are very fortunate that whatever we wanted, we don't have it. Life is still challenging. Whereas if you have everything what you wanted, life is no more a challenge. And that's what happened in Rama's case. He has got everything. And he said, I don't know, there is no purpose in my living, there is no purpose in my death. Ubhayorapi, I am lost in both ways. I don't know what to do. He was totally depressed. And that's when Valmiki, Vishwamitra comes and says, Rama, come with me. And then he is depressed, and Dasharatha says, see, there's only one fellow who has a remedy for these things, that's what is Vasishtha. And so, therefore, Vasishtha was summoned. And Vasishtha gave the whole message of yoga to Rama at that time. That's why it is Yoga Vasishtha. And what change that Yoga Vasishtha made in Rama, we can see that when Rama went to Vishwamitra's ashram, and that night they slept, and next morning when Rama was supposed to get up, Vishwamitra wakes him up with the mantra, which is there in Valmiki Ramayana. Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishthana Shantula Kartavya Daivamanikam. That means to say, it's actually a get up Rama for what? Daivamanikam Kartavyam Kuru. That means it's not ordinary Kartavya. That's one place where he indicates that Rama, there's a long way to go for you. There's so much of work is waiting for you. And what kind of work? It is Dharma Sthapana. That's what is Daivamanikam Kartavyam. That is the purpose of yoga. A yoga made somebody who was depressed to get back into the mode of activity in the case of Rama. Similar thing happened in Arjuna, in Krishna, Arjuna also. Krishna prepared so much for Arjuna to see that, to help him in establishing Dharma. In fact, in back a story, when they were supposed to have been burnt in the Lakshagriha, Krishna knows that they were not burnt and then brought them out and all that. They helped them. And every time we try to help them, something or the other happens. They have to go to the forest for 14 years, 12 years, and this and that. Everywhere Krishna was there. Finally, all these things happened. And then there is a very interesting story. After they came back, they were sitting and Krishna asked them, what are you doing? We are waiting for Pandavas to give us the kingdom. Bah, great fellows. Pandavas will come and give you the kingdom. For that, they have sent you the forest. They don't say, we will fight. That's what Arjuna says. What? Bhima says. And then Krishna says, anything that you fight. But then what else can we do? Did you ask them? Give the kingdom? No, we didn't ask. Then directly fight. Go and ask. Immediately they said, okay, I'll go and ask. Krishna says, "Hey, you are a king. You don't want to ask. You send your emissary, your messenger. Who will go as a messenger to take our message?" Krishna said, "I will go." "Okay. You will go?" "Yeah, I'm a berosgari, I don't have any work now. I'll go." Then Draupadi shows some sense. If you go and ask, then you will convince them. War will not take place. My hair will not be cut. My God. Krishna says to the Draupadi, when thousands of lives to be saved, go bring in your hair in between. Okay. And Krishna says to Draupadi, for you, Krishna is different. For Kauravas, it is not the same. War will take place. Be ready. All of you will be prepared for the war. But negotiations have to be done. Be prepared. And Krishna says one thing very important to Bhima and Arjuna there. You are not going for war. They are inviting you for war. You will win it. If you go for war, you will lose it. They invite you, you will win it. Beautiful statement. The same statement he gives in Pauravas also. He went for negotiations, failed. And then he tells all kinds of things to Duryodhana, doesn't agree. Finally, he says to Duryodhana, you are inviting Pandavas for war. You will lose it. Same question there. See, Krishna is, don't take him as God. He's extraordinary. You take him as God, then you will keep him at that, do a puja, forget about it. Otherwise, you will get a message from whatever that he does. He comes back and the war has taken place. That means you can see how much Krishna planned for the war to see that these things happen and all those things. In spite of the fact, in the battlefield, and everything is ready, then Arjuna says to Krishna, keep the chariot in between the army. Okay, fine. And then Arjuna says, okay, my hands are shaking, my legs are shaking, blah, blah, blah. I can't fight the war. I will run away to the battlefield. So much of planning that Krishna has done, it's going to be wasted. But then there's a wonderful meaning behind it. You see, when here also again, the Gujaratis are very strong. Krishna, if when Arjuna says, keep the chariot in between the army, if Krishna would have taken the chariot and kept in front of Duryodhana and Dushasana, immediately looking at them, Arjuna would have been really fired with anger, having have said, okay, let's fight the war. But then, Chalukya Krishna, he kept the chariot in between Drona and Bhishma. See, these are the people who you revere, respect, so say, oh, I kill my own great people, these are the things. So I feel like bowing down their feet. How can I go to the forest? Why did Krishna do that? You see, if Krishna would have kept in front of Bhishma, Drona, Arjuna, Duryodhana and Dushasana, war would have immediately taken place. There was no question of Bhagavad Gita. We didn't have the trouble of reading 700 shlokas. But then he kept in front of these people. There is a reason behind it. Reason is, if it were in front of, if Arjuna fights war at that time, it's not Arjuna fighting the war, but his anger is fighting the war. His venom is fighting the war. He didn't want anger to fight the war. Anger to take upper stand. That's why he kept in front of Bhishma and Drona, so that wisdom comes up and the war takes place out of wisdom. That's the reason I said that this war is different from all other wars in the world, because other wars are fought by anger. Other wars are fought by victim. Just the one war where the fight was between dharma and adharma. That's the reason why in the first chapter, first sloka itself, dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yujitsavaha. That's why it is dharma to establish that. That's why there's the beginning of the Yuga. From Bhagavad Gita, actually Kali Yuga started. See what an extraordinary, wonderful message he has given. But this message made him proactive. So there was an agenda in the case of Rama to establish Dharma, agenda in the case of Krishna, Arjuna fighting the war to establish Dharma. So both these things are there, and he was confused here. There he was depressed, Arjuna was confused. So therefore, both these things are in the name of provoking them to get into the active. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, the definition of yoga comes in the form of yoga karma sukaushalam siddha siddhyau samo bhutva. Don't worry about all those things, success or failure. Do the activity. So that means it's a text of karma yoga activity. Actually, that's why Balagangadhar Tilak and Gandhi also says that Bhagavad Gita is a karma yoga text. But Shankara calls it as Jnana Yoga text, so that people. And Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada says it's all nothing but Bhakti Yoga. And that's the preference that are there. And here also, Krishna also, at every chapter he says that this is the greatest of the yogas. When Bhakti Yoga says Ratik Jnana. And when Jnana Yoga comes, he says, Lahi Jnana Sadarsham Pavitra, that's the highest. So actually, all these different yogas are given in Bhagavad Gita. But the only thing is that it's not a question of fighting the war, but it is more question of becoming proactive. See, that's why some people have an idea that if you take the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad literature and all that, it makes non-active. It's not like that, it's proactive. So karma is very important. So therefore, basically karma is very important message that Krishna gives in karma. Now, what is yoga when you look at it? Yoga means actually calm down the mind and samadhi and all those things, so that what happens is, you see, vritti is on one side and your interaction, and then you are on the other side, and you are the Jivatma, Paramatma. That's what you are. So, Paramatma, Jivatma, what you are, interaction takes you to the world outside. This is what is vritti. Vritti, we need to do it. You have to do it to the activity. But the only thing is, when you stop the activity, you should go back to the self. Vritti sarupya mitaratraha. Vritti nirodha yoga. So what is the simple idea? Then you become yourself. But we are caught up in the world outside. That's why we need to do the practice of yoga. And that's what it says, the yoga. Calm down the prana, calm down the chitta. That means, say, mind, intellect, and all that. And when you transcend these things, then you are Swarupa. You are yourself. You are not even mind, you are not even intellect. They are all tools in your hand. But you should be able to go beyond all those things to be yourself. And that self, without all these instruments are outside, to leave that, whatever that's behind you, that's what is Jivatma. That's what you are. That itself is Paramatma, where it just leaves this body. That's a simple thing. It's like a soap bubble. Inside the soap bubble, outside the soap bubble, same air, same atmosphere, separated by a thin wall, thin film of soap that is there. All that soap bubble blends, it becomes like that. We have to become soap bubble, like nothing is holding on to us in this world, so that we become one. That's a simple idea. So the whole idea is to go towards that particular thing, go beyond the level of intellect. What holds us in the karma is that activities that we do, and then vasanas which are attached with karma, desires, these, that, all those things hold on to us. So leave all those things and go behind. They're all fine in the world. In the world, we require all those things. But then when you want to go to yourself, all these things are not necessary. This is what is the idea, basically. Now, in order to go to that, we can use our own body, mind, intellect complex, and that's what is Raja Yoga, willpower. We can also go to that state with the help of our emotions, and that's what is Bhakti Yoga. And we can go to that by disciplining ourselves. That's what is Raja Yoga. And then by using your extraordinary, wonderful tool called intellect. And when you use the intellect to take you to that state, that's what is Jnana Yoga. So these things are there. Now, but then the activity, whatever that we are involved in, can it take us towards that? That's what is Karma Yoga. It's activity that we are doing. So that's basically the Karma Yoga. Now, Long time ago, there was a yoga conference. I went there for that conference, and then big yogis were there, present their talks. When I say big yogis, I don't mean in size big. Big yogis means number of chelas in the audience are big. So that what happens whenever there's somebody he says something, you can hear a louder clap. The louder clap, bigger yogi. One big yogi came and gave a talk saying that I practice 17 hours of yoga every day. Wow, 17 hours of yoga. Everybody was impressed. There was a loud clap. Because, we find it so difficult to do 1 hour yoga every day, 2 hours. If somebody suggested 2 hours yoga, said, let's change the topic. As here is person who 17 hours of yoga, people were impressed. I was not impressed because if somebody has free time to do 17 hours of yoga, then he doesn't have any family to take care of it. He doesn't go to any office to work from home or homework. Nothing is there. And he doesn't have to go any, chores like, shopping this, that, all these things. If you don't do all those things, you don't even have to do yoga. You're anyway peaceful. Somebody doing all those things, if can be peaceful, that's what is real. That's what is karma yoga is. Karma yoga is, can I not only maintain peace, can I enhance my peace by doing the normal activity? I may be cooking food, but can I enhance my peace? I may be organizing something, office work and that's what we have the examples like. Look at the way, the examples of Janaka. He ran the kingdom, but he was peaceful. Janaka Adaya. Krishna gives the example of that. So like that, in the normal day-to-day activity, can we make ourselves to be peaceful? That's why Karma Yoga is not the question of changing the activity. It brings the same activity. But can I do that activity in such a way that activity contributes towards my peace of mind? Now, when we say, is it the same activity you're doing? Yes, same activity you're doing. But then, how can it contribute to peace of mind? I thought that when I do some Shirshasana, some this thing, that thing, then it will contribute to the peace of mind. But you seem to suggest my cooking will give me peace of mind, my this thing can give. Yes, that's what is the idea. Now the question is that how there are two important components in any activity that you do it. Every activity has two components. One is activity per se, and the second thing is the attitude behind the activity. A mother has to take care of the child and the children. 24 hours burden on you, if you take it like that. But when mother takes child a burden, 24 hours, wow, it's wonderful. And in fact, you know what? As the child is growing, mother feels, and a child is growing, I'm missing the child. That means this difference in attitude. So therefore, my friend, we both used to go to the bachelor dish in somebody's house, and wife is somebody's house, and his wife is taking care of them. Hey, Baba, she'll come to me, and all that. He will say all those things and take the child in his lap. The child is happy with this boy. Meanwhile, that lady goes inside to get a couple of coffee. And he says, that's for coffee that I need to take care of. I had to take care of before that coffee. Attitude. So every activity has an attitude. It's in your hand. Activity is not in your hand. Activity is what world has given. Attitude is what behind it. Arjuna's problem was that. What he has to fight, there's no doubt about it. What attitude that you have, that's what Krishna gives the whole message of Karma Yoga. In that sense, when Bal Gangadhar Tilak said, Bhagavad Gita is a Karma Yoga text, I also agree with that. There are so many ways that you can change the attitude, but if I try to keep talking about that, it takes a long time. Because each shloka is so deep in it, content. At least let's understand a couple of 2, 3 shlokas which are there to convey about what is the way that you can change an attitude. Before that, I'll tell you a story how the different attitudes function or affect us. In a village, there is a temple work is going on, and the press reporter, she went to that village to run a story on the temple work, and then somebody is cutting the stone. Said, "What are you doing?" And that fellow didn't even hear, or maybe he pretended that he did not hear. So she answered the question again, "What is that you are doing?" And then he gets irritated. He looks at her, saying, "Don't you see that I'm cutting the stone?" Yeah. I'm sorry that you are cutting the stone. I see that, but there's some nice temple is coming up, and we are cutting. Yeah, some temple or something like that. How am I concerned? I'm cutting this stone. Horrible stone is so hard. Look at my hand, they're beaten. Not only that, the supervisor is standing there. See, it's like in a jail. I mean, Parapanagara, It's like punishment for me. I don't know when I get rid of all these things, but there's something. But how many hours you work? 8 hours, but 8 hours, there's no gap in between. All that. And I'm struggling here like this, and then you come to me and run a story and make a mind. Get out of it. Oh. And then goes to another person, and he's also cutting the stone. What is that you're doing? Cutting the stone. And then I have family, I have to take care of it. That's a burden. And I need to make money, and these people don't pay much money. Anyway, it's going on. It's not this today, the temples are some other way. That's all. What's the difference between these? Neutral. Third fellow she goes, and that fellow says, "See, this is my village. We never thought, for generations we were struggling for a temple. And I'm so glad during my lifetime this temple work has come. But you're cutting stones." Yeah, I'm cutting the stones. I never knew about cutting the stones. First time cutting the stones, and I really discovered such a wonderful thing that in the stone, such a beautiful image is there. So careful that I need to get. It's like a birth of a little image that's coming out of it. What about supervisor? Supervisor is like God. Honestly speaking, he helps me in every step that I do it. Every moment he is there. But for him, I wouldn't have been doing it. How many hours do you do it? How many hours? I come in the morning, continue to do work here. I go back in the night, I dream only about these things. At the bar, I continue. 24 hours work. How long are you doing it? How long? I wish this temple work goes on for the lifetime. See, for the first fellow, it was like a hell. For him, it is like a hell. Same work. It all depends upon the attitude behind it. That's why Krishna gives a few suggestions about what is the attitude that you need to have. What's the attitude behind the temple work? It is God's work that you are doing. That's a simple thing. What is not God's work? See, a temple is a small little structure where we think it is God. But is it not everywhere God that is? So can you not think of it as God's work? It's a very simple idea. We take this as a God. Whatever work that you are doing is a part of God's work. But then there are some deeper ideas that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, which are much more important, not only important, but we can apply it in the day-to-day life. This is one of the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, which is very popular. Almost like in every house that you have that shloka, either in the form of a wall plate, this, that, and all that, and that shloka. Karmani vadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetuhu mate sangha tatva karma. Most of the people know it. Very common thing. Most of the book commentator also about that. But most misunderstood shloka is also that, in my view. Also, I read about 30, 40 commentaries about Bhagavad Gita of that particular shloka, but I was not satisfied when I was reading that, the commentaries. The usual, whatever Krishna said, I'll then give you the commentary that whatever that people have given, translation. Yeah, karma niyama adhikaraha eva, that means only for the sake of karma, you have adhikara. Ma adhikaraha karma phaleshu. There is no adhikara for karma phala. This is what Krishna said. Krishna is very simple. You have adhikara for karma, you have no adhikara for karma phala. And this, many people translated, we have a right for doing an activity, we have no right for fruit of action. He, as a corporate man, we are in trouble actually. It is like somebody asking me to do the activity, but I don't pay you. How can we agree with that? Karma, I do work for the sake of karma phala. If I'm in government, I don't even work, but I get the karma phala. You see, a very honest speaking. And Krishna says very clearly, don't look at karma phala, do the karma. Karmaneva adhikara. You are right to do the activity. No right for karma phala. How can Krishna say that? It is not right. Why it is not right? Because we translated adhikara as right. But Krishna said only adhikara, not right. We have translated. Why did we translate adhikara? Because basically, Mayor William, who has written the English dictionary into Sanskrit English dictionary, he has written as adhikara as right. But we have carried it, and Apte also carried it, and we also carried. Many books carried it. But we have not thought about it. It's wrong. It's not right, actually. There is no word called right. Then what happens? What is the right kind of a thing? What should be understood? Because there it doesn't even contextually, it doesn't hold good. So if I have to look at contextually, what is the meaning of adhikara? I need to go to our Sanskrit texts, what they refer to as adhikara. Then there are so many books which are there which give you the word of adhikara. Like for example, Atma Bodha, Tattva Bodha, Viveka. There are several books where adhikarinaha. In fact, in Prashnopanishad also, when the student goes, Sukesha goes to teacher Pipalada say, do those things, 1, 2, 3, 4 things, then you have an adhikara to get this. Adhikara seem to be like your eligibility. So 1, 2, 3, 4 you do, then you have the eligibility to do that. Karma niyama adhikaraha, that means you have eligibility to do the activity. Krishna says to Arjuna. And it's fair because Arjuna is trained himself to be the chief of the army, is the best of the warriors. So therefore, he has an adhikara to be the chief of the army. That's what Krishna says to Arjuna. Yes, you have an adhikara to do the karma, fighting the war. Because you are trained for that, you have certificate for that. Even for the simple work that we try to look at, what is the qualifications, what are the credentials that you have? Adhikara, we look at it. Like for example, at our center, somebody comes, says, I would like to be the chief cook in our ashram. And he says, but what is your eligibility? What is your certification? What is your experience? He says, no, first time I'm coming here, I would like to, please don't do experiment on our students. They will die. And you should have some experience. Everywhere that is experience necessary. So adhikara is actually eligibility and experience that you should have. Arjuna had an experience. In fact, before this war, Arjuna alone, he stopped the whole of Kauravas in Uttar Gograna. So therefore, adhikara is established. So therefore, Krishna says to Arjuna, you have an adhikara to fight the war. Eligibility. Together with eligibility, there is one more thing that is there, is called as responsibility. In fact, this is another thing we need to understand that if you have trained yourself to be something like a medical doctor or engineer, you have responsibility towards the society. And in fact, that's what is Hippocrates' oath in the medical doctors, saying that if you are a medical doctor, you have to treat the patient. You cannot escape from that. You are a doctor, you have to do. In fact, on the flight, if there is a doctor, they will announce, is there any doctor? So you should go and take care of the patient. You can't say, my fees is so much. No fees, nothing like that. And this came in the case of even in Ramayana also. When Lakshmana is hurt in the battlefield, Rama is thinking that, oh, Lakshmana died. Hanuman jumps in and says, no, Lakshmana did not die. There's life in him. And then I will go and get the best of the medical doctors from the Lanka, because they're in Lanka. And then he will take care of it. So he goes all the way to Noor area in Lanka and gets Sushena. Sushena is the doctor there. And Sushena comes there because, for Hanuman, it's not difficult. Just pick up Sushena, bring it here. And then when he came there, he says that, no, he is my king's enemy's brother. I don't treat him. Sushena says like that. Ramayana it is there. Hanuman reminds him that, look, there is no enemy, there is no brother, nothing like that. Here is a patient and you are a doctor, take care of him. See, that's what law says. Adhikara is that you have responsibility to treat a patient. Sushena is also smart. Okay, I'll treat him provided you get me the medicine from the Himalayas, other side. Hanuman, you want medicine? I'll get you the whole hillock. I'll treat him. He brings a whole Sanjivani Parvata. See, that means adhikara is responsibility. Very interesting thing is that the nature works on responsibility. The whole nature works on responsibility. Look at the way how the bird, even the nature, you look at the birds, when they lay eggs, they provide nice, wonderful nest, collect chicks and all that, create a nice eggs nest, cozy nest, and then lay the eggs, sits on the eggs to hatch the eggs, use the warmth, and when the eggs hatch, little ones come out, mother bird will go around, collect the first worm and feed the eggs, feed the little ones first. Before she eats, she feeds the little ones. It's not like in the aircraft we say, wear your belt, then you wear the child's belt. I don't know what that way. See, that is first you do it for the child. That's what. Not only that, when the child grows big enough, the mother knows the child has wings to fly and aerodynamics are there in the nature. The mother takes care to see that the child flies from there. Slowly removes the twigs and then the little ones go back. Finally, they jump off and then mother is happy. Similarly, the whole nature is like that. When the fruits come on the tree, you see that the tree has to be stable. The roots grow into the soil, spread wise, and then so that the fruits are taken care of, tree is taken care of. Everywhere there is so much of nature looks at the responsibility. And actually, there is no question of right in the nature. There is no, you see, in Sanskrit language, there is no word of right at all. Look at all the Indian languages, Sanskrit-based languages. The word that we use for right is hak, isn't it? And the hak, Sanskrit origin is not there. Sanskrit is such a extraordinary, wonderful language, gives words to everywhere. Could we not have given one more word called as right? We did not give because nature doesn't have that. We did not give, that's why reason when Mohammedans came, then we borrowed that word called as hak. And ever since hak is there, then only fight that's what it has. Why it is like that? The rights divide us, responsibilities here. Everywhere there is responsibility. Mahabharata, there is responsibility, Ramayana, responsibility. You look at the scriptures, you can see that. As I said in Ramayana, responsibility, Hanuman shows that. The same way in Ramayana, in Mahabharata also, when the Pandavas built Indraprastha, then, it's a very special thing. At that time, Narada comes there. Beautiful incident. And he meets Yudhishthira, asks, have you taken care of these things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. As a king, you have to take care of people, take care of water, take care of water supply, take care of this, that. So many things he asks. One very important question that he asks is that there are people who are physically, mentally challenged. And they will not be able to do the functions like the way anybody else does it. Therefore, they blame God. Why God created me without eyes, without this thing, and all those things. So therefore, it's a king's responsibility to see that they don't blame God. You provide all the facilities to see that they take care of. What an extraordinary thing that is there. Unfortunately, we see opposite to that. If a person is walking, particularly elderly man on the road, if somebody was a car guy, he doesn't even stop for them. And it will stop. It's your responsibility to see that that person crosses. Don't do that. I think we should learn from that. So nature has only responsibility. Nature, there's look at the way that I have this chair and somebody stands on this chair. 4 legs are there that they take responsibility of the weight that you put. No leg says that I can only take 5 kilos of weight, not more than that. Nothing like that. Responsibility is like that. This right. The responsibilities bring the people together. Our rights divide us. Unfortunately, that this whole culture, 10,000 years, it survived because that this culture did not have the word called as right. We didn't have hak until the Muslims came. Until the 14th century, that 16th century, we didn't have that hak. In fact, in this culture that we didn't have any hak, you look at the way husband and wife, they go to the work. Even till today, youngsters, they go to the work. Both of them probably she works much harder, comes back home, and this fellow settles on the couch and she goes to the kitchen, makes nice, wonderful coffee and gives it. Who said that to give? If she doesn't give, she feels something missing. The responsibilities make your life fulfilled, not rights. Look at the way today we fight for rights. Of all these rights, what I really wonder is human rights. I don't know which dog or cat is fighting with you. We're all human beings, but only we have human rights. Thank God, dogs, birds, cattle, they don't understand this language. Human right against another human being. That means I should be more better consumer than you are. And what? So this is what I think. I wish the way that we come out of that right, probably we have a better society. This is what Krishna says, Karmanyeva adhikaraha ma phaleshu kadachana. Let's go by the responsibility. We have a responsibility to. Don't look at the fruit of action. Why? Ma phaleshu kadachana, because phala doesn't belong to you. Phala belongs to the activity. Activity is the data for the phala. Activity is the janani for the phala. Like, for example, activity is the seed that you plant. You seed a nice, wonderful mango seed, and then the plant comes and it gives mangoes, nice, wonderful mangoes. If you don't, if your seed itself is a naughty mango, and expect nice, wonderful Alfonso mangoes to come, they don't come. Unless until it is 2G, 3G, then you get a different kind of one. But otherwise, you don't get it. So that's why phala belongs to the karma. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Never it is question of phala. Because basically what happens, karma is in your hands. Karma is in this moment. Phala is in the future. Karma is vyashti. That means individual has to do the karma. Phala depends upon samishti. You sow the seeds, you till the land and all that, you sow the seeds, you provide whatever supply. Finally, God has to bless you with the rain. Then no rain comes come. You see, phala comes because of many other factors that are there now. Karma is that what you need. But does not mean you don't be depressed. Karmani vadikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachana. Focus should not be at the karma, in phala. Why? Because if karma you are doing 100% behind it, if your part of the mind is divided into the phala, that means you are not fully in the karma. While doing karma, can you put 100% behind it? And that's what is yoga. Don't look at the fruit of action, because fruit is the one which divides your mind. The moment you have the fruit in the mind, naturally that you are compromised on this karma. Many times what happens is that the karma goes in the wrong way also. In fact, the students were asking me, look, when we conduct this value-based education program, one of the school students was asking me, why can't we copy it? Exams, why can't we copy it? I think something or the other these days. There's so many. My watch I can give me all the information, I can copy it. That I mean, no, copying is bad. Why? See, you're interested in my getting marks. Don't tell me how to get marks. That I will manage. But getting marks is what is your interest. I'll get you marks. No, but you will not know the subject to do something like that. You only say that what we read has nothing to do with what I do. Isn't it? See, that means to say you compromise on the karma. The moment phala is given, compromise. That's why earlier education was not phala oriented. It was it was not just it was learner's point of view rather than the teacher's point of view. Today's whole education system is teacher's point of view. How much have you covered the syllabus? How much the child goes into the head, nobody has seen that. Brightest student, it might take a long time to get into his head. Like, for example, when Pandavas were learning, Drona was teacher, and then Drona was giving them the ideas of various scriptures. And then he said about Satya, truth. She gave an elaborate talk on that, and then next day, okay, we'll go to the next step. Yudhishthira said, no, not next step. I want to know more about Satya. Arey, you are a bright student. No, I want to know more. So he went on giving all that. And then afterwards, again next day, next week, 1 week is gone. Then next week, can we go to the next step? He said, no, continue. Hey, what kind of fellow you are? You're a bright student. After some time, Yudhishthira said, okay, now let's go further. Now I was like, okay, at least you understood now. Drona said, look at the effect of it in the war. When Ashwatthama, the elephant, is dead, at that time, it was going on, commotion was created and sent Bhishma to kill him. That's what Yudhishthira said. And then they were very happy saying that Ashwatthama is dead. So Yudhishthira said, oh, Ashwatthama is dead. That Drona had communicated to Drona. Drona said, if Ashwatthama is dead, uttered by Yudhishthira, it must be 100%. He gave a Shastra. Look at the way. If your learning happens like that, it always takes you toward Dharma. Karmanevadikaraste mafanish kadach. Look at it. Ma karma pala hetu bhu. You know what happens is that second sutra. Karma pala hetu karana, the fruit of action. Don't be yourself the karma pala hetu karana, but the karma pala, because what your contribution is 5%, 95% is the society, the outside world. That's contribution. Don't claim. We all claim for that. Small little thing we do it, we claim. I have done it. It's because of me things happen. If I were not to visit, I don't know what will happen to that particular. As if you are not there, I would immediately say, it would have been much better if you are not there. It's much better. Ma karma pala hetu bhu. All these things are message for our day to day. Ma karma pala hetu bhu. Mate sangaha astu akarma. Now say that, you say that no phala, do the karma, and then don't even claim that you are the karma phala result of it, all those things. So let me not do any activity. Let me sit down. I don't do anything. Get angry. Don't do anything. He said, don't even sit down quiet. Ma karma phala hetu mate sangaha astu karma. Don't keep the attachment with akarma. Because the moment that you identify yourself with akarma, you are dead. Because life is nothing but karma only. When does the karma stop? When you die. Finish. Inviting the death. Pray. Krishna is very hard. And this is what we need to say. You keep doing activity. Till the last moment, we should do the activity. But don't attach to the fruit of action. When we do that, karma does not become like a burden. Another beautiful idea that Krishna gives, there are so many things, but I'll just give you one more idea. I'll stop it here because I'm very close. And that is, says you do the karma, you do akarma, that's okay. He says, the mahana karmano gatihi. Karma ideas are very deep, he says. What is deep about karma idea? I do the activity or I don't do the activity. That's why immediately next sloka Krishna says, you do activity, that's fine. Don't do the activity, that's okay. But don't do akarma. See, karma is also all right. Karma is also all right. But don't do vikarma. See, I know only two things. Either I do the activity karma, or I don't do the activity karma. But Krishna brings about a third concept, don't do vikarma. What is this vikarma? So it put me thinking for a long time, actually. 3-4 months I was struggling. I was trying to find out what are the translations that they were. Many people, again, vikarma is supposed to be a nishuddha karma. That means they don't cheat somebody, don't rob somebody, don't steal somebody, don't rape something like that. See, these are the things. And you know what? This translation doesn't go well with that because Arjuna is such a wonderful fellow. In the patriarchy, Krishna is saying that don't rob, don't steal, don't rape anybody. Arjuna would have said, hey, don't waste your time and my time here. I've never done in my life. That's not what is Krishna's idea. Well, what is that Krishna's idea of vikarma? And then says that don't do vikarma. Then I started, and that should be applied in the day-to-day life. I was struggling for what I. And hypothetical example that I came up with the day-to-day life. Like a simple thing is, I'm watching a T20 match on the TV. Particularly, these days T20 matches, last overs, can't even sit down on the couch. You have to stand up. But in Pakistan, they break the TV, but anyway, we don't do that. And watch him because one ball you miss, it, you lose a wicket. Huh? And you say that I lost the wicket because I didn't watch it. Remember that? All this. So, but at that point of time, the little fellow comes and says, Papa, can you help me with this math? No way. Don't you see that I even stopped breathing now? How can I help? Go and ask your mom. She has to give. Then he goes to the kitchen and says that, okay, mom says, I'm busy cooking food for you. My hands are busy, therefore go and ask Papa to help you. Papa says he's busy. I know what he's busy about. Tell him that cricket match is already fixed. Take care of you. No, let mama take care of it. He also says, okay, I will take care of it, but you don't have dinner in the tonight. I don't know VYASA. Now that is not prepared for that. Okay, tell me what it is. He shouts at him. Mother once again comes there saying, then go talk to him, shouting at him, talk to him nice. And I say, ah, beta, come, I'll teach you what is that. What's happening? You are struggling inside, you are fighting inside, and then you are outside, you are smiling. See what exactly is happening is you created a dichotomy in your mind, a duality in your mind. One mind says do it, another mind says don't do it. There's a struggle that's going on within you. An activity, simple activity, you created a struggle within. This is what is vikarma. Vikarma is a fight which is generated within you. And nobody generates vikarma. Only you create a vikarma for yourself. You do it and you fight with that what you do it. This is what Krishna says. Either you do the activity, fine, or you don't do activity, that's also fine. But don't do vikarma. Arjuna's case particularly it applies there. If Arjuna now leaves the battlefield and goes to the forest, because that's what he said, I'll go to the forest. Krishna says, okay, go to the forest. He will go there and find out internet there. See what's happening in the warfield. See, the fellow will not leave it. Or if he's in the battlefield, oh, these people are there, I'm killing them, and he's fighting. In either case, that is having vikarma. It's not only Arjuna has a vikarma, we all have that vikarma. Look at that. How many activities that you are doing in the day-to-day life? Is it just activity or is it a vikarma? How many activities you don't do it, but it's a vikarma? Like, for example, you wait for the weekend to come, Saturday, Sunday. Don't do anything, just sit down. The wasting my time, I have to do something else. See, even that sitting quiet also is becoming vikarma. Karma is also vikarma. Akarma is also vikarma. You are doing only vikarma. And who created that vikarma? You created yourself. Just like the way you want to go to the office and you go onto the highway and then you see the traffic there. There is traffic, horrible traffic. Who asked you to go first? You can sit down peacefully at home. No, I wanted to go to. See, you wanted to go to the office, then bear with that. Don't shout at the crowd. We fight with the traffic. Who? See, we created, so we fight with that. When I was working as an engineer, I had a colleague of mine. We all used to sit together and open the lunch box together. And that fellow also sat along with us. Mullah Nasruddin opened his lunch box. And he opened the lunch box and said, that same dal, same roti, same something. One day he said, maybe he didn't like it. Next day also he said the same thing. Third day also, every day you complain about it. Tell your wife, what would you like to have? So that she will pack. Which wife does not want husband to enjoy the lunch? They can pack nice, wonderful lunch for me. She can do that. You all do that. He said, you are lucky. What do you mean by you are lucky? My wife listens to me, your wife doesn't listen to me. No, that's not the issue. Then what? He said, I'm not married. Then who packs your lunch box? He said, I pack my lunch box. You pack your lunch box and you complain about the lunch box. Then Mullah does that, we laugh at. But is it not our life, our own packed lunch box? Our own packing. That's what every moment If you understand that, then do the activity. Don't do the karma. The whole tension, the whole problem, complaint of the life because of the karma. That's why Krishna says, karma is fine, karma is fine, don't do the karma. Don't have complaint about that. Why? Because this karma is the essential feature of the nature itself. There is one Brahman unmanifest, and the other is manifest Brahman. And the feature of manifest of Brahman is karma, activity. Can you do the activity like the way it is Brahman itself? And that's what we have. Such a wonderful shloka in Bhagavad Gita, which says that any activity that you do it, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahariti, Brahmavno, Brahmano. What more do you want an attitude of an activity behind it? Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhi. It's not what activity that you do it, what attitude behind it decides about that. Please follow the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is an eternal text. It's an eternal text. Get a message to all of us all the time. Thank you so much.